What's going on YouTube? Cloverbell's here back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're taking a look at Dragonite again. So we looked at Dragonite previously, maybe about a month or maybe almost a month and a half ago, back when the Paradox Mons were still legal, and there was a cool set that it was running with Choice Band, okay? Choice Band and then Extreme Speed, and then 3 other filler moves. And what made this combo really good was the Pokemon that was next to it, and that was Chien Pao, right? Because the whole combo behind it was the Sword of Ruin would be able to drop defenses, and then Dragonite would be able to go for Tera Normal, and then just go for like these hard-hitting, choice-banded extreme speeds. And I think they were pretty much just adamant nature. That was the old thing, right? But then we found out in Series 1 that there was no Chien Pao, so now this Dragonite combination just didn't work anymore. Because now without the defense drop, okay, now what ends up happening is that when you go for Tera Normal, Choice Band, Extreme Speed, you're still going to do a lot of damage, but you're just going to miss out on some KOs that normally you would get with the Chien Pao, right? So because of that, Dragonite, dropped off a little bit, right? But it was still around, right? Because people were trying to make it work. And then all of a sudden, the Hydreigons and then the Garchomps started rising. And then, the Dragonites fell even further. But again, the Dragonite still stuck around. So then why are we still talking about it today? Because if we take a look at a recent tournament that happened over the past weekend, just before the new year, the Durance TV Pokemon VGC Meta Weekly Tour, it was a very big tournament in terms of population. It was about 156 people here. So that's a good turnout for a tournament. And you can see that Dragonite was on the winning team. All right. So we're going to look at Dragonite and this set over here, but we're also going to look at about 3 or 4 other tournaments that also happened over the weekend, because we saw some top cut results from Dragonite there as well. And we're going to compare some of the sets, all right, and see what people are thinking about with Dragonite and why it's succeeding and why it's developing and adapting further. And we'll take a look at some summary sets where we'll just give you some ideas on what you could do with Dragonite moving forward, right? But the whole idea is that without the Chien Pao, the Dragonite had to adapt, right? And people have found ways to adapt and make it viable and make use of it, which is why not only is it on a winning team, as you see on the screen, but it's also in some top cut results in some other tournaments, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some of these tournaments and see what the Dragonite sets were. All right, so let's take a look. All right, so let's take a look here at .1Q's team over here, and it is a Choice Band Tera Normal, just like the Chien Pao set, with Dragon Claw, Fire Punch, Brick Break, and Extreme Speed. Okay, so 4-move Dragonite with Choice Band makes a lot of sense here because you can see there's no real form of speed control other than, that's pretty much it, other than the Trick Room armor. All right, so that's okay. And the idea behind this team is, you're trying to go for Trick Room, get the Torkoal in eruption position to just click that and just go nuts. You have redirection support with the armors to help set that up. You also have the Annihilate Final Gambit stuff to take out a Mon just to, make sure the Armouge is able to survive, and set up the Trick Room safely, right? The Dragonite here looks like it was just slapped onto a Trick Room team, right? But it does relatively well, right? Because you're able to also just go for these hard-hitting, choice-banded extreme speeds, just like pretty much remove stuff. Even if the Torkoal or if the King Gambit, Annihilate, or the Mouse Holder, even if they can just chip things a little bit, the extreme speed can just do so much, right? So that's the idea here behind this Time Squad. So nice job from .1Q. I just want to get that name right. All right, then as we move down here, there's another Dragonite team, right, from Pepis VGC. Okay, all right, let's take a look here. There's a Glimmore here. I kind of want to do another video on Glimmore. I think this thing was slept on a little bit, and it has some tournament results in VGCs, right? So let's take a look at that later. But this is now the Assault Vest Dragonite with, again, kind of like the Choice Band set with 4 moves: Extreme Speed, Ice Spinner, Brick Break, and Earthquake. Okay, so, good set here. Again, you're still running the concept of Tera Normal E-Speed, but now you have Ice Spinner, which is actually important because Ice Spinner hits a lot of the meta, which we're going to show you in a second. And then you have Brick Break, which is a good fighting coverage, breaking screens. Not only that, but good against the dark types, just like Hydreigon and opposing Hydreigon, or maybe even like the big steel types like a King Gambit, for example. And then Earthquake is also really good against like other fire types and even Goldango, right? Which is also like the #1 most used Pokemon in the meta. So this Dragonite set can actually hit quite a lot, which is very nice. And it's under Murkrow Tailwind support, right? So that's pretty good because what I would think here is with the Assault Vest, you're able to take stuff like Sylveon attacks or even like Hydreigon, Drake, and Meteors a little bit better. But you know, it also helps to outspeed things. So what I think is happening here is maybe there's a lot more EVs invested into bulk and a little bit less speed because you already have the Tailwind support. Right, and you even have like Icy Wind over here as well. So this one has a little bit more speed control mechanics than the winning team. So there's that. All right, but Assault Vest Dragonite. So we've seen Assault Vest, we've seen Choice Band, and then as we go further down the list here, I think there's a couple others. Yeah, Dragonite was big in this tour. Another one, 7-1 record, Iceberg VGC. Let's take a look here. This one is with Dondozo Tatsugiri. So another Assault Vest set with low kick again. So pretty much a similar moveset, but instead of like Earthquake, it's Stomping Tantrum. So either way, a ground move, but still paired with Tailwind Murkrow. All right, and of course the Dondozo Tatsugiri Goldango stuff is relatively standard, right? So another Assault Vest Dragonite. All right, and as we keep going down, Yotam, 6-2 record, again, very good result. All right, this one is again another AV Dragonite with pretty much the same set as the other guy, I believe, right? E-Speed, Ice Spinner, Earthquake, Brick Break. So again, you know, we've seen 3 Assault Vest Dragonite so far, but 1 Choice Band set. So the Assault Vest variant is actually pretty interesting, and I think that might be the way to go, and paired with like Tailwind Murkrow stuff, which you've seen on 3 of these teams already, except for the winning team. And then over here, 5-3, pretty good from Alchemist, and then another 5-3 result from Pinky. We'll look at the 4-3 one in a second, but we'll just look at the 2 5-3s because these also did relatively well. This is again back to the Choice Band set. So E-Speed, of course, is a given. Dragon Claw, yes, that's also staple, but no Fire Punch. So instead, opting for the ground move, but still the ice coverage. So still good coverage there. And again, there is Murkrow Tailwind support, and you can also see another Dragon here with the Hydreigon. So interesting there. All right, then as we keep going down, I think we have another squad here. Yep. This one is from Sir Pinky. So we'll take a look at this in a second. Yeah, right here. So another Trick Room squad with the King Gambit. All right, and Trick Room setter with Fergaraf, but Assault Vest Dragonite. So Ice Spinner, Dragon Claw, E-Speed. Yep, this is relatively standard. So pretty much the same kind of sets that you'll see, you know, whether it's Choice Band or Assault Vest, you know, 4 attacks with like good coverage. Should I even look at the, yeah, we'll just look at it, just see what it was. All right, this one was a Life Orb set, you know, with Fire Punch, Dragon Claw, E-Speed, and then Low Kick. Okay, that's fine. So let's take a look at some other tours. So let's look at this one, the New Year's Eve one. This one, again, how many players were in this one? I think this was a smaller tournament, but still decently sized. This one was about 68 people, so that's pretty good. And you can see 2 Dragonite teams, actually 3 Dragonite teams in the top cut over here. So Kanoji 7-1, let's take a look here. Again, paired with Murkrow Tailwind stuff. Firewater Grass Core with Volcarona, Azumarill, Masquerada. And this is a Lumberry set with Dragon Dance. Okay, so some good variants there. So I would imagine something like this, you could outspeed like maybe even Garchomp, for example, right? After just 1 Dragon Dance, and then the rest can just go into like attack and HP investment. So that's pretty good. But again, you still see Tera Normal with E-Speed, Dragon Claw, and then the ground coverage, right? So that's pretty good. And then over here, again, but this one actually is a more balanced team with like defensive stuff, right? So you still see Firewater Grass Core. Actually, you don't even see Firewater Grass. You just see like 2 fairies here and then 2 dragons. 2 fairies, 2 dragons. Okay. And then you have Terra Water on the Amoonguss. All right, so this one is Assault Vest Terra Flying with Wing Attack. Okay, that's new. All right, so some variants there. All right, Flying Stab makes a lot of sense. Not taking. I think, does this thing get dual Wing Beat? I think it does. I'm not sure. Let me take a look. Do you get dual Wing Beat? No, you don't. So you just get that way, right? So what are the flying moves do you get besides that? Hurricane stuff. Aerial Ace and Wing Attack. Yeah. Okay, sure. Okay, so then from here, back over here. So let's again, this is like a more defensive, bulkier team. more balanced team with that regard. And then as we go down this list, again, Iceberg VGC. So I think this is more or less the same kind of team. So again, Dondozo Tatsugiri stuff with Assault Vest for coverage moves. So that's okay. And then, yeah, that's about it. Oh, there's one here, 4-3 Carne Asada. We'll take a look at it. Yeah, again, another Assault Vest set. So it looks like right now the Assault Vest Dragonite is the way to go. And it makes a lot of sense. This one was the Espeon Cup. This one was even bigger than the Durant's Cup. This one was about 177 people. So with 177 people, actually just like one Dragonite team over here with just like the solid result. Yeah, the Dragonite was not popular in this tournament. There was just one within like the top results here, but we'll take a look at it. So again, it's also paired with Dondozo Tatsugiri. And another solid Fire Water Grass Core with Skeletor's Meowscarada. But this one was a Life Orb Dragonite, so we saw one of those earlier. But Protect with E-Speed, Brick Break, and Ice Spinner. Okay, so no Dragon coverage, but still Life Orb set. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. So, you know, actually, was there another one here? Oh yeah, there was another one here. But this one was another smaller tournament. So a Poke Village Backyard Brawl. Alright, so this one also had one with 4-3 with Aura Rayquaza. Okay, Choice Band set. Yeah, relatively standard set. Okay, so the idea now is like, okay, we've seen that the Assault Vest is like pretty popular, and we've seen that it's either on like Mirko stuff, Dondozo Tatsugiri stuff, or even like about a balanced team or a Trick Room team, right? So that's the idea there with Dragonite. But then if we look at Pikalytics here, then we can see what kind of sets it likes to cover, right? So let's take a look now in Pikalytics, and let's just see how well it does against the rest of them. Okay, so if we take a look at the common meta threats, and let's see what some of those Dragonite sets are doing. So if you consider Goldango the #1 used Mon right now, again, the ground coverage Stomping Tantrum, you see why it was used. It's just to hit this thing really hard, and you know, the Assault Vest, you can take those Make It Rains relatively well. And then look at this, Mirko, Garchomp, Hydreigon, and Moongus. This is why Ice Spinner was used on pretty much every single Dragonite set that we saw, because it just hits everything, right? So like, this is why things like Baxcalibur was rising as well, right? Because Baxcalibur has the ice coverage, and it's an ice stab move, and Ice Charge is like pretty much almost one-shots everything over here. So good coverage there from Dragonite. The Annihilate, again, you can deal with. Armor Rouge, you know, you can just go for your ground coverage move against that, and you know, you're a Dragon type, you can resist that. His fire moves. Okay, Meowscarada, same idea, you know, Dragonfly, you can resist. Even though he does crit every time, it's still okay. You can win that end game. Grimmsnarl, you can break its screens. Just watch out for Spirit Break. But again, you have Tera Normal. Then the Arcanine over here. Then you can just go for your ground coverage move. Mousehold, again, you have your fighting move, either the Low Kick or the Brick Break. Sylveon, you have to watch out for, but you have the Assault Vest. But again, you have the Tera option, right? And then Torkoal, ground move. Garganical, King Gambit, ground move. Rotom, E-Speed this. Dondozo, you know, you can just Dragon Claw it potentially, right? I know he has his own dragon moves and he's +2, so you're gonna have to have something else for it. But of course, every Dragonite team has a Dondozo check, right? This is why they were running Meowscarada Murkrow with it. Tyranitar, Ceruledge, again, Tyranitar, you have a lot. You have the ground move or you have the fighting move for it. Ceruledge, again, you have the ground move. Tatsugiri, not an issue. Kilowattrel, again, also not too much of an issue. The other dragons, Dragonite or Dragapult, all right, that just becomes a game of wills, okay? Skeledirge, ground move, Baxcalibur, you're faster, well, a little bit. It depends on their spread, actually. They have ice coverage, so actually be aware of that, all right? Another reason why Baxcalibur is rising quite a bit. And then as you go further down, these are just like lesser threats, so, you know, not really too much else you can really say about these things. I mean, you know, take it for what you will. But you can see again how well Dragonite was hitting against a lot of these meta threats, right? So there was some merit to all of those sets, particularly the fighting coverage and the ice coverage moves. And along with the Assault Vest sets that can help you against a lot of those special attackers that you saw. So there's some merit there. So good reasons to use Dragonite right now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to hop back into Showdown. And we'll pretty much just, you know, summarize some of the more popular sets that you want to try and run with Dragonite right now, again, without Chien Pao. Okay, so pretty much we saw a little bit of the Choice Band set still being run around. You had like the E-Speed stuff, the Dragon coverage, Fire Punch, and then one other filler of your choice. Or you could do like E-Speed, Dragon Claw, and then 2 other fillers, or even just forgo the Dragon coverage and just go with like Extreme Speed, Fire Punch, even, or not even Fire Punch. You could just go like Stomping Tantrum, you know, Icicles, Ice Spinner, all right, and some other coverage move that you want, right? And that's not even Dragon. And the whole idea is like your Adamant Nature 252, 252, and you're just going for like Tera Normal E-Speeds most of the time, but there are some cases where you do want to go for either the ground move or the ice move to pick up some interesting KOs, right? So there's the merit there. This one, the Assault Vest variant. So again, if you're paired with the Merkle stuff, then all you really need is about 107, right? And then you can just invest more into like your special defense stats. So maybe even something like this. Where is it? Yeah. And then just go like 191 to optimize the Sand Chip, and then just a little bit in defense, and then just a lot more in special defense, just to like, you know, just be able to take those special attacks a little bit better. You might even like drop this attack a little bit more and just go even more in special defense, depending on what you're trying to calc for, of course. But this is like a standard Tailwind set, you know, that's bulky in the special defense side, without me trying to calc for anything. I'm just giving like a general spread, but the main idea is the speed tier to outspeed Dragon Bolt with the Tailwind Merkle stuff. But again, E-Speed, Ice Spinner, Brick Break, Stomping Tantrum, a 4 coverage move set, with of course E-Speed being on all the sets. And again, the Ice coverage does so much. Brick Break is good against Hydreigon and the other Steel types, and of course Breaking Brimstone Screen, Stomping Tantrum, the Fire types, the Goldango stuff again. So there's some idea there. The Life Orb set, I pretty much think that E-Speed, Protect, and then 2 other coverage moves is what you want here. And then ideally you just go like a Jolly spread with max, and then, you know, you might do less damage in terms of like not being Adamant Nature, but then again, you remember that you have the Life Orb, and that'll actually make you do more damage than these other 2 mons, right? But you have 2 other coverage moves that you can go for. I still think Icicle Spinner definitely comes in whatever Dragonite you said you have. I think the ice coverage is important just for like the other dragons, if you don't even have like Dragon Claw, for example. And then this could be, you know, either the fighting move or the ground move of your choice. It's really up to you, something like this. And then over here, the Lumberry set. So the idea here, you know, again, with just like a general set, the main thing was just to get it to 114, which would outspeed the Garchomp after 1 Dragon Dance. And then I just went to pretty much the second EV bump. So here's the first one where you go from 174 to 176. All right, and then another 80 EVs invested will get you to 124. So there's 187. But again, with the Dragon Dance, it's a 1.5 multiplier. So this will get you an odd number. So what I want to do is just go 1 above it just to get it to an even number. And then, you know, that rounds it out. So this way we have a whole number. And then from here, you just have like all of this bulk left over. So then I just put it to 191, which is another benchmark in VGC. And what this does is it'll optimize the Tyranitar Sand Chip damage, right? So if you do 191 divided by 16 real quick on your calculator, it's going to come out to 11.9, which rounds down to 11 damage per turn of taking Sand Chip damage. So that's important there. And then from here, you can just put 4 in special defense, and then just a little bit more in defense. And again, this is just like a general thing, you know, without trying to calc for anything. You know, I just put all my leftover bulk in defense because it's my lower of the EVs, you know, the bulk EVs. All right, so there's the idea there. But that's pretty much it for the Dragonite sets that we saw. It was the Choice Band, the Assault Vest variants, and a couple of Life Orb variants, and there was like 1 Lumberry variant, which I think has some merit because, again, you can avoid getting burned, you can avoid getting slept. But pretty much the ability you want is the Inner Focus, right? So to prevent yourself from getting intimidated. You know, multi-scale is interesting, but I don't think it's enough. And I think Inner Focus is just the main thing, right? As far as like the partners, so ideally, again, with the partners, let me just like erase these, right? Because you already saw them. You can always just backtrack the video. It was always like the Merkle stuff with Tailwind support. That was a common theme. Or you could go with the Dondozo Tatsugiri stuff. You know, that was another common thing. All right, but you know, I know that this pair is not liked by many, but again, it has the results, so you can't argue with it. Or you could go just like with the winning team or what some of the other teams have. If I go to Durant's here, it was like a Trick Room variant with like Mouse Hold and something else to set Trick Room, like an Armor Rouge. So you can go a Trick Room variant with like Torkoal. I think there was another team like that within some of these tournaments. So there's the idea there. So 3 types of squads that you can put the Dragonite on. The Tailwind stuff with the Murkrow, the Trick Room stuff, or you could go like the Dondozo Tatsugiri. But then there was also like the balance stuff, right? Next to Garchomp. I think we still had that team. I think it was where Mocha had his tournament over here, where it was balanced. No, I think it was over here. Yeah, this one. So there's something like here with Michael, you know, just like a balanced stuff with Garchomp screens, and then Sylveon's the fairy type as well. You could do something like this, you know, but you know, there's some merit behind Dragonite, right? So it's very interesting to see the adaptation of Dragonite as the meta has evolved, you know, without Chien Pao, right? So that's going to be it. I just wanted to bring attention to Dragonite and say that it's still very much viable, and it has the tournament results to prove it. So, you know, but it has to be on the right team. I don't think it's as splashable as like the Garchomp or the Hydreigon, but it has the results to do well, right? And it's viable. Okay, so let me know what you think of Dragonite. Let me know what you're trying to do with Dragonite if you have tried to use it already. But we'll be back in another video in the next one, guys. Peace out. Have a good one.